Daniel, David, nice to see you, Daniel.
Let's go away.
Yeah, I've had too many days on the sun lounger.
I thought you meant.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's not a good start. It can only get better from there.
Make sure you get that enter for the picture to Twitter, by the way.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. Nice to see you, David. Going to throw a lot of names at you injury-wise or fitness-wise, so we'll just get into it from there. Dimi Yanulis came off, obviously, second half at Bristol. How is he, and how is he for the weekend?
He's okay. So it seems to be that all the players who were involved in last weekend's squad are available for Saturday.
Okay, good news. So I mean, following on from that, Gunny, John Rowe both came back, no problem at all reaction-wise.
Yeah, no props. Got their first minutes under their belt. Trained now a full week as well. I think Johnny, you've seen that he needed a little bit time to adapt to the speed and to the tempo as well. What an important week for him, considering that we have now a 3 games week in front of us as well. Everyone else is fine, trained well so far, so it looks that we have the same squad available.
Okay, right. In terms of the ones in and around that, then, when you've obviously said it'll be more or less the same squad. So, Poiheta, what's the update with him at the minute in terms of when he could be back in the mix? Shemmy.
He is back. He played 15 minutes against Bristol already.
Did he?
So yeah, he came on as a sub. So
I love it, an absolute malaria.
He has done quite well.
Is that April?
No. Maybe leave it to me. So Grant is back in training next week, like expected. If it will be the beginning or the middle of next week, we will see. I think he's the next one where we can count on that he's back in training, and then it looks like the week after that Gibbo is close, maybe Lungi is close, as Ash is. So Josh is. So they are all around the Christmas time back in training. The next one which we expect in training is Grant next week.
I think there is a scheduled development game next Monday. Wolves, would that be a bit too soon for Grant, do you think, or is that not really an option?
No, this is not an option. No.
And then the only other one is obviously Wang, but as it is, you don't expect him back this side of.
Yeah, the first steps improved quite well, to be fair. So we hope him back around this Christmas period as well. But I think we have a better picture on him in the next 10 days when he is back on the grass as well. When he's running, then we can have a bigger picture on him, can predict it a little bit better. At the minute, the first days, weeks, a couple of weeks now after his injury, he looked quite well.
Don't want to dwell too much on Bristol, obviously, because it's all about looking forward now to Preston. But tongue in cheek a little bit, have you watched the scenes back following Adam's winner, and do you try, on a more serious note, do you try and harness that emotion, ride that wave? You said it's all along, it's a very tight group, but can that bring everybody even closer together?
Yeah, every win helps to bound wins like this, late winners even more. I said this more often. I said this even in the period where we had this bad spell, that this group is tied together. This is a group of good characters. Yes, at this moment they didn't collect the point, they didn't perform on the level which we expect from us. There were some reasons for it. Now, obviously, with the 3 wins in 4 games and the performances as well, I think the group recovered well and did some good steps. But now it's all about stay hungry, stay greedy, focused to continue this run. This is the momentum which we now like to create, and this is us who has to do it. But this was never, from my point of view, I said this, I have a great group of characters together. Win, lose or draw, this will not change. Obviously, it's more enjoyable. I said this more often as well, if you win football matches. And now it's up to us to, and if I say us, it means us, the group of players, staff, coaches and supporters, to really crack on and create the atmosphere again, which we need to pick up this momentum, which we all together love to have, and hopefully we all together can do this first time on Saturday.
As you say, it speaks for itself now. 3 wins from 4, 2 of those away games as well, very difficult places to go. So it does feel positive. Are you, when you're digging into the performances, you said there, you know, you're happy with the performances? Is there more you want to see, maybe in possession?
Don't get me wrong, happy with the performances. I can judge the results, right? So I know that Cardiff, I think, was a decent performance. I think the QPR game was okay. Defensively good, offensively we can do better. Obviously now Bristol, it was, I said this after the game, it was a very even game. It was a very competitive game. Both teams wanted to win, and I think obviously if you score so late, you have this little bit of luck, what you need in a game as well. But I think the players deserve this luck because they worked so unbelievable hard. So obviously we can improve performance-wise in ball possession and in terms of defending as well. But especially in terms of defending, I think over a longer period against Bristol, and forget the Watford game where we had our old problems again. But in the other 3 games, I think defensively we looked much more solid and stable in these games against Bristol as well. Considering which good run they were, especially at home. They've just beaten Borough at home. I think this was a good step in the right direction, but for sure we have to, and we need, and we know that we like to improve performance-wise. But at the minute, it's a period where results counts. And I know, and I said this always, you will have more positive results if you perform on a good level, and this is where we still have to be focused, make sure that we defensively continue to improve, to be more stable, more solid, more difficult to break down, and obviously make sure that you still create your opportunities and be clinical. And I think this is something which we were more or less consistently over the whole season able to score goals.
Yeah, talking of goals, you know, he was the man of the moment on last Sunday, Adam Ealing. You talked about his impact as a sub and that pace and that power against tiring defences when the spaces open up, and it stands to reason. You know, 6 goals he scored from the bench this season. But how does he, and I'm sure you've sat down and spoken to him about this, how does he make that leap from delivering that same impact as a starter week in, week out?
Yeah, I think, to be fair, I don't know exactly the stats. I don't know how many starts Adam had and how many times he came off the bench, but what you clearly can see is he is an unbelievable impact player once he comes from the bench. This is something you can see on his stats in terms of the goals, but you can see this in terms of how many problems he caused opponents. But the truth is as well, he has done the same when he was a starter. Unfortunately, not in terms of the numbers, in terms of goals or assists, but he caused some defenders big problems when he started as well. So it will always be the case, and this does not only count for Adam, this counts for more or less every player. There will be games where he will start, and there will be games where he comes where the players comes on as a substitution. But it only shows is what it shows everyone is if your mindset is right and you are bang on it in the second where you come on the pitch, you can get man of the match even if you only play 30 minutes. You don't have to start in this moment, and this is where everyone really has to be bang on now, because Adam has shown it a few times that this is possible. You don't have to start to get man of the match. You can have a huge impact, and for this you have to have a clear head and a clear mindset, and hopefully this was the last push which everybody needed if he comes in the position like Adam last weekend to come as a sub, to be there. And of course, if you start, make sure you do your work as well.
Just ask you a couple of your midfielders from last Sunday particularly as well. You know, Nacho, you put him inside there inside Gabby, more of a deeper line role, and you could see, you know, he maybe a little bit more time on the ball. He's excellent in terms of his technical ability and his passing range. Is that really somewhere where you think you can do a lot of damage in the Championship in those areas of the field, maybe a bit more deeper line?
Yeah, I think Nacho made a big improvement in the last few months compared to when I arrived in terms of how he takes care of the ball, and that there are much less turnovers when he is on the ball in terms of decision making on the ball, in terms of the passings, or even in terms of losing his battles in ball position. Much less turnovers, and this automatically means his performances will improve because he's a good player on the ball. He can make the right decisions, and this was a massive step that he can run 13k a game without a problem. This is unbelievable, and he still looks fresh. This is what we need as well in this position, but this is, I think, the biggest improvement for him, and I think it helps him that he now understands, even if he does not speak a lot of English, more and more, and that he gets more used to the group as well, because obviously if you know the language a little bit better, nobody knows it better than I do as a foreign human. It makes his life easier if you understand the language more, and he does understand it more than compared to 10 months ago.
Sure. And then slightly sort of on the side of that is Liam Gibbs, who last season maybe through necessity was playing a bit more deeper towards the back end of last season, but started at Bristol and brought him on at Watford in a more progressive, almost up alongside Ashley or Adam Eder. I mean, is that where you feel he's best used now? And taking a zoom out, I mean, how do you assess his season so far? Maybe not the amount of minutes he had last season, but it's all part of his curve, is it, development?
Yeah, but I love Gibbsy. He can play both positions. He is, I think, one of the most football intelligence players in our squad. You can put him more or less in every position. He tactically more or less understands and knows exactly what to do. He asks the right questions, and obviously he has a super speed and can run a lot as well. For him, it's a little bit the same like it was for Nacho, to take care of the ball. If you play a little bit in a deeper role centrally on the pitch, if you play higher, it's about numbers, creating opportunities, scoring goals, giving assists, and this is the area where he has to and will improve. I think last season, end of the season, where we had this problems injury-wise in the midfield, he played a lot of minutes and has shown that he can play his part. Now maybe he had a few less starts than he had at the end of the last season, but he is very reliable, and he will start further games for us in the next games, in the next weeks, in this busy period for sure, because he's a very reliable player. And as I said, I really like him. He's still young and a academy product, so there is space for improvement, and he knows this, but I have every trust and believe in him.
Moving on to Saturday's game, Preston. A few parallels there. Started very well this season. I think there were 6 wins on the spin, and maybe the surprise package at the top end of the table. Struggled a little bit over the last sort of 10 or 12 games. I mean, how do you assess them as a challenge?
Yeah, I think in general we face a different style which we faced in the last 3-4 games. So they are a quite direct team where we have to be prepared for a lot of aerial duels, be ready for the second balls, really challenge and fight for second balls, be good in stopping crosses, box defending as well. But I think as better as we are in ball possession, as more we can push them backwards on the back foot, as better it is. So it's both, which is very important. Have the right sharpness, the right aggression to win the balls, and then in ball possession make a lot of good decisions and be brave and play your football. It's like always, we really have to be focused on ourselves. If we can play football to our strength, I think we can cause everyone a problem as well. Preston, obviously, we know how it feels if you are on a bad run, which they are now with 3 defeats in a row. And this even makes it bigger that all of our supporters on Saturday give us the support which is necessary to create an atmosphere, which gives us the energy to pick up now this momentum which we all together love to have.
To be honest, yeah, you just took that word. That's my next question. That you touched on it earlier. Momentum. Now that's massive going into this pre-Christmas period. A lot of games, and QPR last time out at Carrow Road, first winning 4 at home. So if you could carry on where you left off from there, and as you say, those away supporters who were at Cardiff or Bristol, they've had that feeling, that emotion.
Yeah.
And if you can provide that for those home fans as well, then it really starts to feel that you're building that consistency in results and performance.
Exactly, and this is our aim, so that from the first second we really go for it, and that we really try everything, invest everything, show how hungry and greedy we are to get now the second home win in a row after the Crew PR game, which we had a couple of weeks ago, and then we go from there. So for us, it's so important. I think everyone can smell this, how important this is now for us, this home game, and this is why I'm asking everyone in the stadium to play his part, because we all together know and smell how important now this game, this period is, to push on, to move forward, and the next one is the most important thing, and this is for us, Preston, on Saturday.
Sure. And obviously, final one. Your focus clearly is on the games at the minute, but there was a few questions put to you, I think last week, about January and maybe sitting down with Ben and formulating plans. I mean, is that continuing in the background, albeit your primary focus is obviously these games coming on?
Yeah, the truth is we had a meeting this week where we shared thoughts. I understand and I get Ben's thoughts and I agree with all of them. Very interesting, exciting ideas, and now we will see what he can deliver at the end of the window. We, for me personally, to be fair, it was good to have this meeting. As I said, good ideas, exciting ideas. Will be interesting what of these ideas we at the end of the day then can deliver. But to be totally honest, it's not at the front of my head at the minute. The window is so far away, and then the window is 4 weeks open. I understand the questions, but for me, as I said, it's Saturday, Preston. If I ask the supporters to give the full energy and the full focus on this game, what I do on Saturday from the first second, I as well will do this for sure.
But appreciate that. But one follow-up, it was interesting that Anthony Rickens, the finance guy, he did a little bit of media in the week, and specifically in January he said, look, with the debts, we all know they were mapped out at the AGM, we all know what the situation is there, but you're not under a pressure going into January where you have to sell some of your key players, and as a head coach, that must be reassuring, because you will need, I'm sure, your key players to really push on in the second half of the season.
Yeah, this is what is for sure. And this is what I know. We don't have to sell a player in the January window, which is a good information for sure as well. But obviously, as a manager, you always like to have more than only the reassurance that you don't have to sell. But as I said, it's so far away, and I now really like to leave it with Ben and his department to see. What of our ideas, what of the ideas he created, we at the end of the day are able to show.
Cheers, David. Thanks.
Thank
Good luck, sir.
Thank you.